What's up, my good people of the internet? So welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We're going to jump right into the show. Appreciate your patience here this morning. Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory proudly bringing you what's poppin', and they're bringing you the best snacks you're going to find in central and upstate New York. To me, it is the home. It is the beacon of snacks. Whether you're going to the movies or watching Netflix at home, watching a game, going to a game, on a road trip, going somewhere on vacation, whatever it may be, Ma and Pa's has your snacks ready for you to go. With chocolate-dipped Oreos, chocolate-dipped pretzels, kettle corn, popcorn, premium corn that you can get, like the Elvis, which is the banana popcorn, dipped in the banana flavor. So good, with Reese's peanut butter drizzle on it. Absolutely amazing, because Elvis liked peanut butter and banana. So make sure you get out and get all of that amazing stuff today, including their lemonade and their cotton candy. It's all in one place on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, right by the highway, the Thruway, Destiny, USA, a few minutes outside of the city as well. Very centrally located right there for you. Ma and Pa's, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. They bring us what's poppin' every single broadcast. And the first thing we got, as you know, the trio on a Friday. The annoying moment of the week always starts off Friday, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, followed by around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today we're focusing on the topic, when you can't control it. It's a big topic for a lot of people. Top dog of the week, we honor the LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team, again making history. They got the first win. So this is LeMoyne women's soccer so far. LeMoyne, as an institution, becomes a Division I school on July 1st, 2023. The first ever game played with LeMoyne being a full member Division I institution was LeMoyne women's soccer. The first win that we saw was LeMoyne women's soccer for LeMoyne being a fully fledged Division I institution. And now they've won their first NEC game following the women's tennis team winning the first ever NEC conference game, the Northeast Conference, the new conference that they're in Division I. The women's tennis team won the first ever NEC anything for LeMoyne. And then LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer just won this game yesterday up against Stonehill, who used to be in the NE10 and used to be in Division II and reclassified right before LeMoyne did. So we're honoring the LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team as our top dogs of the week. Also noting the tennis team and everything that's going on the Heights. Very proud of all the Dolphins. I'll be joined today by Jaro Zawislan, the head coach of the women's soccer team, and I'll be joined by the forward who hit that game-winning goal, knocked that in the 52nd minute, Sierra Edwards. And she's also been a part of a lot of great things already this season, a game-tying goal, and now she has a game-winning goal under her belt. So we'll talk with Sierra as well. And we'll talk with Coach at 10 a.m. and Sierra around 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we'll round out the show with Blessings in Baseball on a special day. Normally, Blessings in Baseball comes to you every other Tuesday, but with some schedule changes, Dukes, Knutson, and I are going to be bringing it to you today. So you'll have the opportunity to hear Blessings in Baseball this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where we talk about God, faith, and the great sport of baseball. All of that coming up around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll extend the show out to about 11:30 with Blessings in Baseball being here with us. We thank you for speaking of being here with us, being with us all around the world, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast. However you're with us, we thank you so much for tuning in on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So however you're with us, thank you so much for joining us here, where sports truly meets life. And with that being said, it is time for the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. My annoying moment, and it comes to you every single week here. I get to pick something here. We always take a negative and spin it to a positive. My annoying moment of the week, it would be easy for me to go back to driving, you know, the drivers that we see out there these days. But I would probably say, you know, there's a few annoying moments of the week that I have. One of the annoying moments of the week that I definitely would have to put up there is the lack of, I would say, honesty that some people give. You know, the lack of honesty and lack of commitment that some people give. Because there's a lot of great people out there that are doing a lot of great things, and they're, you know, very committed, they're very honest, they're very there, you know, they're very present, and there's people that aren't. And for me, you know, I think when you give your word, you got to keep your word. I mean, that's how it's got to be in life. When you give your word, you got to keep it. You have to stick by it. You have to live by your word, right? And now, I think in this world that, you know, there's things that confuse me, right? There's things where people are not nice, they're not kind, they're not doing nice things for others, they're being selfish. And it makes me sit here and it makes me wonder, why? You know, why does that person act that way? Why does that person feel that way? Why is that the thing that, you know, they've chosen to do in their life? And there's not always an answer to why somebody acts a certain way that they're going to give you, right? Not everybody tells you, hey, this is why I do what I do. This is why I act the way that I act. And that can be hard too. So I think the annoying moment of the week really is the fact that when someone isn't honest or isn't reliable, we're left with the bag. And a lot of times we want to know why. And my good buddy Rob Drummond always says to me, Dan, why ask why? Why ask why? And when he says that, you know, what he means by that is you're not always going to get the answer. And even if you get the answer, you may not like the answer. The answer might not make sense to you. The answer might not be clear. The answer might not even be a full answer. So why ask why? And I think a lot of us out there, you know, when somebody hurts us, we want to know, why did you hurt us? Why did you do it? Well, when I look at certain things, I say to myself, you know, not in every situation. I mean, some people might sit there and tell you, this is why I hurt you. This is why I did what I did. This is why I feel the way I feel. Some people might give you that, right? Some people, if they want to continue the relationship, they want to continue the bond and the connection, they might tell you, this is why I hurt you. This is why I said what I said. This is why I feel the way I feel. But other times, you're not going to get that. And sometimes people do things and they just do it and they move on and they don't care. See, when you're a rational person and you're a logical person, you feel like everybody is rational and logical. So you approach people in a rational and logical way, expecting a rational and logical answer. And you're not always going to get that, because not everybody is going to be rational. Not everybody's going to be logical, and not everyone's going to feel bad about what they do. And that's something that I think has been really hard for me, is that, you know, coming to terms with the fact that I live in a world where people are not always going to be kind. They're not always going to say, I'm sorry. They're not always going to be sorry if they say they're sorry. And I think we all deal with that, right? We all deal with, why is life like that, right? Why do people say and do things that are hurtful? Why don't they care? You know, why don't they discuss it? Why don't they talk things through? Because shouldn't I matter to them? And I feel like, again, I've talked about this before, I feel like we try to find God in other people. We try to make other people God, right? This is my girlfriend. I'm attracted to her. I love her. She's amazing. She's funny. She's my God. I worship her. I do everything I possibly can for her. Now, there's a positive of giving to someone else, but you should never worship anything like a God, anything or anyone. And I feel like we get so caught up in, this person is my person, or this job is my job, or this is my this. And then if it lets you down, You feel completely lost. You feel completely broken. How could they do this? Why would they do this? Not everyone is like you, is what my mom and dad say to me all the time. I don't like hearing it, but it's the truth. Not everyone is like you. Not everyone is going to care like you care. Not everyone's going to listen like you listen. Not everyone's going to be present like you're present. Not everyone's going to give like you give. That's just how it is. And I don't know why, but it is. And it's an annoying moment because I find people suffering, and I find myself suffering at times because we expect other people to give us what we give them. And isn't that a tough thing to a tough pill to swallow, right? A tough thing to digest is that you could give everything. You could do everything right. You could do everything that's asked of you, and it still may not be enough. It still may not be enough because not everyone's going to treat you the way that you treat them. And that's another part of my annoying moment of the week is how you treat people. You know, I went through something this past week where someone treated me really, unfortunately, not great. And it hurt my feelings. And it made me, in the past, I would have gotten defensive. In the past, I would have felt like I wasn't good enough. Oh, they don't think I'm good enough, so I must not be good enough. I would have done that. I would have thought I wasn't good enough. I would have beat up on myself. I would have questioned everything I did, everything that I built, everything that I am. Now, don't get me wrong. I had moments. I had moments where I thought to myself, maybe about this and maybe about that. But I've grown. I would like to think I've grown with God. I can always be more faithful. I can always be more connected to God, and I can always be a better person, and I know that. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, did I call up some loved ones and kind of get it out there and say, hey, I didn't say it to this person, but I want to talk to you about it. I'm going to tell you about it. But when someone comes up to you and they speak to you like you're below them, and they know they're in a position of power where what they're doing is disrespectful, but yet they feel like, what are you going to do about it? Because I have power over you, right? I have this thing that you need, you know? It's kind of like you go, it's kind of like if you went to the DMV and the person was extremely rude, but you got to get your license renewed, right? You got to get your license renewed. You've been waiting for an hour and a half, and this person's just disrespectful. They're rude. They're condescending. But they know I can keep this person as long as I want to keep this person. I can act any way I want to act because this person's got to get their license. And your options are to deal with them or to walk out the door, but you got to get your license. And I can't, and to me, it's an annoying moment really of any week because people that know you need me for something and I'm going to milk this and I'm going to abuse this privilege, those people, to me, cannot be really happy people. Because again, happy people don't punish and like drag people through a process or drag people through a mud or disrespect people. And so the best thing I can tell you, if you're having an annoying moment where someone really disrespected you and they were coming from a place where, you know, you had to kind of tread lightly, because if you were mean back or disrespectful back, you could get punished even though the initial interaction was not your fault. It's a tough thing to do, to bite your lip and say, I'm going to find, and this is what I would tell you to do, because I've worked on this over time and I continue to work on it. Find a way to respect yourself while also respecting them. Don't let them walk all over you, and be strong in who you are, but also kill them with kindness. It's a really tough line to toe, but you toe this line where you walk away from them saying, okay, I didn't just, I didn't put myself down and I didn't allow them to put me down, even though they tried to. I was kind and respectful, and at the same time, I wasn't weak. And I think that's an important thing. Don't be weak, right? You get questioned and you get put in a situation that other people aren't put in. Answer the questions, but answer them with strength, with conviction, with peace, with faith, with love, with God, with the understanding that not everybody is like you and not everybody respects you. They're not going to. And I'd love to tell you that I know why people don't respect us, but sometimes people just don't. And you can let them build a loft apartment in your brain, or you could just chalk it up to, why would I, if I had to experience that person for 5 minutes, why would I let it be any longer? They've walked away. That was a terrible experience. I don't want to experience that again. So I did my 5 minutes, and now it's time for me to move on. If I think about it and talk about it and harp about it, then now I'm not spending 5 minutes with this person. I'm spending 20 minutes, 2 days, 5 days, a week. So you have to let it go. That's a hard thing for me sometimes. It's a hard thing for you, I'm sure, at times, some of you. But you have to let it go. Because a disrespectful experience doesn't need to be a disrespectful day, week, month, year, because you won't let it go. And no one deserves to have a loft apartment in your brain. As I've written before, if you give people loft apartments in your brain, where do you get to keep your thoughts? Where do you get to live? Because it's your brain. If you let everybody else in, well, then now you're homeless. Because everybody's in your brain. You got nowhere to go. And that's not a place to be, and it's not a safe place to be. My other annoying moment of the week, and I'm going to try and say this as nice as I can. When I go through TSA, I have not been touched by an angel. I will tell you that much. But I've been touched. And I respect TSA. I have family that's worked in TSA. I know that what they're there for. And I appreciate it. And I feel terrible that we live in a world where we even need TSA. But thanks to 9/11, we have TSA. So sometimes, and I never have anything on me, obviously, right? I'm like not carrying anything. Normally my watch gets checked, whatever. So I had to get checked this past time. I forgot to take my belt off. Now, your belt is above your private area, correct? And unless you got one of them big old Texas belts, those are some hefty belts. They're heavy too, right? But they're cool. The designs are awesome. If I ever go down in Texas and I do like a wake up call when traveling around Texas, I want somebody to get me a Texas belt. Maybe we create a wake up call one, put the coffee cup with the sun coming out of it on a belt. That would be sweet. But anyways, I digress. So let me get into this really quick. So I went through security and my belt went off. And they said, "Sir, I got to pat you down." And I said, "Okay." It's in one little area right by my stomach. Now, the last time I had one of those yellow squares show up by my stomach, obviously there was nothing there. And they checked and they checked and they checked. But they didn't check my stomach. They checked my private region and my backside. And this time that this was checked, there was a lot going on. And no dinner bought. No pleasantries, just touch. I felt like at the end of it all, I needed to give a bill and go, okay, this is how much that cost. But I just feel like there's checking a passenger and then there's like touching. A lot of touching. And it's like, how many times do you have to run your hand over something to be like, there's nothing there, right? And I took my belt off, I think, and I held it in my hand. So, like, even then, it's like, okay, you know that there's nothing there. So, I got to put that as an annoying moment of the week. Maybe one day, stand-up wise, I'll go a little bit more in depth because it was really uncomfortable and there was a lot going on. But this is like the third time that I've been somewhere where someone was like, "Hey, let me touch everything below your belt and tell you to have a nice day." And I don't even know what to say at the end. The guy was like, "Have a nice day, sir." And I'm like, I gotta forget about this. Definitely have to put this behind me. So, but yeah. Again, I respect the TSA. I appreciate the TSA. There's just a couple instances, and I travel all the time, but there's a couple instances too many where I feel like I have, I don't even know. I feel like I've stepped into like the champagne room that Chris Rock talks about when I have to go through some of these searches. No, thank you. Please no. I mean, I feel like I had to get a physical this year. I feel like I got one. I feel like I got a clean bill of health. I got my physical through TSA. Now I'm good. Now I don't have to go to the doctor. And guess what? That TSA check was free. So, I mean, I guess if for nothing else, spin a negative to a positive, my check that I got through TSA, my physical is done for 2023. So with that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with Lead. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Head out there any single day of the week, all throughout the year, to try the DT Dolphin, my spin on the traditional Sunday, by bringing you a Sunday dedicated to the LeMoyne College Dolphins. You could get, it's a mint chocolate chip ice cream with, it's obviously green for the Dolphins, topped off with hot fudge, whipped cream, and a cherry, green and gold sprinkles, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of the whipped cream. It is only available in Carvel DeWitt. It is not available at any other Carvel in Central New York and all across the country. Carvel DeWitt, the exclusive home of the DT Dolphin, my LeMoyne Dolphin-centric Sunday, located about 5 minutes from LeMoyne's campus. It tastes great, and it honors a fantastic institution. So I look forward to you going over there and grabbing one today and let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. We'll take a step aside, like I said, here on Wake Up Call. We'll be back right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Avenue, is your sports card shop to celebrate that same hobby that you've loved over the years with new memories. For those of you that have never been to a sports card shop, GG Cards and Breaks is the place to open up that part of your world. And for those of you that have been to a sports card shop many, many times, been all over the place, GG Cards and Breaks is the place where you will find a central location of people that care and so many wonderful things, unique experiences. GG Cards and Breaks, from Josh and Anthony to Alex, as well as Joel and the entire team at GG Cards and Breaks. It's just a different experience. Customer service is there, being hospitable, welcoming, open, funny, engaging, and at the same time, they have every Major League Baseball team, every NFL team, every NBA team right there on the back wall. So whoever you're a fan of, you're here in Central New York, but whoever you love, you can go there and look through and find those teams for NBA, NFL, and MLB, and nobody does that. I haven't seen anything like that since I was a little kid, which is one of the big things that drew me into GG Cards and Breaks when I walked in there on Father's Day this year. Another thing was how great the customer service was, and I got to shout out Joel for that. Then speaking with Josh, the owner, and having a conversation with him and what he cares about and what matters to him. This is a place I want to go into every single day, not just because I love cards, but because I love and appreciate good quality guest service and just people that genuinely love and are a part of what they're selling. These guys are opening sports cards every single day. They're putting things online. They're having fun. They're having conversations. They're grading cards. So you can go there for singles, for cards that are already graded that are in slabs. You can go and get your cards graded and have them sent out by GG Cards and Breaks, packs as well as boxes. So many awesome things. We get to do box breaks with them all throughout the year. We've had a ton of fun. You can check out all the videos on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. GG Cards and Breaks. I cannot say it enough. If you've never bought a sports card in your life, the day to do it is today at GG Cards and Breaks. And if you are a sports card collector and you just love it and enjoy it so very much, I'm telling you right now, that same hobby will have so many great new memories at GG Cards and Breaks. Of course, they have trade night as well every single month, and we appreciate going out to that and seeing the incredible community with people of all ages, like 7 years old to 60. And it's just absolutely an amazing experience. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. GG Cards and Breaks, where you need to be, your premier sports card shop every single day of the week, right here in Syracuse, New York on 639 Delmar Place, right off of Teal Ave. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, it's time to jump into Lead inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is the acronym, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And the topic today is going to be when you can't control it. So many of us struggle with this. I struggle with this. When you can't control it. When life is just, so one of those things happens, somebody does something and you can't control them. Something happens in your life that you can't control. When you can't control what's going on, how do you react? Because a lot of us seek to control and we focus on that control. Man, if I could just control this person to get to work on time. Man, if I could just control my wife to tell me she loves me more. Man, if I could just control my husband to be who he says he's going to be and pick up the kids on time and do the things that he needs to do. Man, if I could just control this game so my team could win and I could win this bet. When you can't control it, what do you do? Because control is something that, and it sounds bad, right? It sounds bad, right? When you try to control something, it sounds like you're trying to put something on puppet strings. But in actuality, with a lot of people, when you're trying to control something, you're trying to make it good. You're trying to make it right, right? I would love to control the situation so that everybody could be on the same page, so everybody could speak the same language. Like people would say right now, man, if I could control America, right? If I could just control America, I'd get everybody to put their swords down. I'd get everybody to stop getting triggered and upset and angry, and I would just have us all work together. Man, if I could control Congress, I'd stop this Democrat-Republican thing, and I would just be like, hey, be a human being. Like, if the topic on the floor today is safety and security, why are there two sides to that? You know what I mean? Safety and security should be a universal human thing. Let's find a way to help people feel safe and secure. Education. We shouldn't have people on one side of education, on another side of education, right? There should be a central, just workable thing, right? That where we should come together and say, okay, you know, we all want to have a good education. Who's on the other side going, no, I don't want to have a good education. I want our kids to be stupid and I want them to know nothing. I mean, who would want that? But we can't control everything, right? Really, you can control almost nothing. And I know you don't want to hear that, but I have to hear that. You can control almost nothing in this world. You can control yourself, and you need to, and there's nothing else you can control. You can't control the children that you raise. You think you can, lock them in the house, this and that, but you can't control their thoughts. And you can't control if they jump out the window, right? Onto the tree and, sneak out. You can teach as much as you want to teach, but what do they say? You bring the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. You can't control anything but yourself. What do you do when you can't control it? Do you let it control you? I can't control how people treat me, but I've spent most of my life letting that control me. harping on it, thinking about it. I just said it in the annoying moment of the week. Somebody tried to, I don't want to say they tried to, but they really genuinely disrespected me. And they made me feel questioned to a point where I could lose something that I had earned over the years, I would think, that I had no reason to lose. And yet, they're talking to me like they can say whatever they want and do whatever they want, and that I wasn't on their level, and that I needed to answer things the right way or else I could lose something. That's how it felt. And I couldn't control it. I couldn't control what they were doing. So what do you do in those instances? You got to just be, and this is a universal thing. You have to be yourself. You have to be yourself, you know? Now, if you say, well, Dan, I'm a person who yells all the time. Okay, listen. When I say these things, I also talk in common sense. You have to be yourself, but common sense says don't scream at people, right? Common sense is that people don't like to be yelled at. And I don't think anybody likes to be yelled at. So when we look at situations and things we can't control, they do control you if you don't get control of yourself. You can't control it, right? I can't control that if I leave and something's 20 minutes away and I give myself 30 minutes to get there, so I have an extra 10 minutes, I can't control if the person in front of me drives 40 miles an hour when it's 60. I can't control that. But if I scream and I yell and I swear and I wish bad on them and I drive up to them like I'm going to hit them, well, now they're controlling me. I can't control the situation, but now the situation's controlling me. I think we focus so much on wanting to control things, we don't realize they're controlling us. What you think about, what you manifest, what you bring in, that's what you're creating in your life. When you talk about drama is controlling you. When you talk about pain is controlling you. It's not that you can't discuss things that bother you, but there's a limit. You know, I go out to lunch, dinner with my mom, my dad, and I look back at stuff. I spent the entire meal complaining about something. I wasted the entire meal. I didn't talk to my dad about how his trip was. I didn't talk to my mom about how her day was. I just harped on something that was bothering me. It controlled me. And the entire time I said, I don't want this to control me. It doesn't control me. Well, obviously it does. You spent an hour talking about it. Right? You spent an hour harping about it, worrying about it, wondering about it. It is controlling you. And there's so many things we can't control. I have a friend that I love dearly. They're my brother. They're my family. And they're going through a really tough time right now. A really tough time right now. And they can't control what's happening. And that can cause anxiety, depression, frustration, lack of faith, loss of faith, confusion, anger, hate. And I can't control the thing that's bothering them. And they can't control the thing that's bothering them. They can only control their reaction. They can only control how they choose to deal with it. And it breaks my heart to have to see what's happening right now. It breaks my heart. But, as my mom said to me, you have to be strong for your friend. You can't break. You cannot break. You know? You cannot break. Because your friend needs you. Your friend needs you. You can't control it. They can't control it. So what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do with this thing that neither one of you can control, neither one of you can stop? What are you going to do? And I feel like, and I want to credit my mom and my dad for giving me such good advice, especially, you know, as I've gotten older here. Just like, I mean, they've always They've always given me good advice, like throughout my life, but it just seems like, and maybe it's clicking more, maybe I'm understanding it more, but their advice is well received. I want you to know that, Mom and Dad, and I appreciate it, even when it's tough, because you can't control it. You can't control it. And 99.9% of the things that I've ever called them about are things that I was trying to control that I can't. And not because I'm a controlling person, but because the thing that was happening was hurting me. So I wanted to get control of it. And what you realize in life is you cannot control people, places, and things. You can only control your reaction. You can only control your reaction. People have different reactions to different things, right? The war in Ukraine should make us all sad. We should all want it to end. We should all put ourselves in the shoes of the people of Ukraine. We don't all do it, but we should, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Some people see that there's a war in Ukraine and they shut the TV off and they go get some Starbucks coffee and go on with their day and they never think about it again. I think about it in the back of my mind all the time. How is there a war going on and we're not talking about it? How is there a Hitler in today's society and we're not discussing it? Because it bothers me. We all see it, right? It's hard not to see things in today's world, but not all of us care. Not all of us do anything about it. Not all of us speak up about it. We live in a society where we have freedom of speech, and there's people screaming at the top of their lungs, and those exact same people are telling other people that they have to shut up and they're not allowed to speak. It's like living in Nazi Germany while also living on an island by yourself. It's like some people are on an island saying, I can do whatever I want. And then the other people that are on the island, they turn to them and go, no, 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 this is Nazi Germany. You can do what you want when I tell you that you can do what you want. And that, how do you respond to that? How do you respond in today's society when somebody says you can't be you? You can't believe what you believe. You can't say what you want to say. Do you let people control you? Do you let people tell you what you can and cannot do? Does it? Because I'll tell you this right now. When you're not yourself, that feeling is in your gut. It's in the pit of you. It's right. It sits right there. When you let somebody shut you up and not be yourself, it sits. It just aches in your stomach. You can't control what other people say and do. You can't control the weather. You can't. You can't control the stock market. There's so many things you can't control. The only thing that you can control is you. How you react. What do they say all the time? It's not what's happening in life, it's how you react to it. Right? I mean, I met somebody, and you're going to meet her over the next couple days because I'm going to air our new special. You know that with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, I do lead, which I'm bringing you right now, and every Friday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. And I also, with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, bring you a video segment called The Light Between Us, where I sit down with team members of Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay and speak with them about their journey, their faith, their story, who they are, why they are, with always a positive approach, and talking about really tough topics at times so that we can have those tough conversations and hopefully help you. Well, the conversation that I had with Karen Dietz, nobody should miss that. People who don't believe in God, watch it. People that believe in God, watch it. People that go back and forth, watch it. I'm telling you right now, watch that. Because this woman has been through hell, yet she believes in God. And she believes in God in such a happy way, in such a good way. Not a crutch. Not a, I believe in God because I have to. One of the toughest things that somebody ever said to me, because it hurt me, and it made me think, and it made me sad, is when I was dating a girl, and she didn't believe in God. And I tried to give it a chance, but I believe in God, and she didn't, and that typically doesn't work out. And she said to me, you believe in God like so many other people because you have to. God is your crutch. You need God to get through life, because if you had to go through life and you didn't believe that God existed, you couldn't handle it. God isn't real. You just created him so that you had something to lean on because you're not strong enough. That's what somebody said to me. And I said that to two people that I met last night, Sophie and Arrest. And when I spoke with them last night and I told them that had been said to me, they looked at me with just shock in their face. Utter and complete shock. That they couldn't believe that somebody would say that to me. But this is where control comes in. Do I stop believing in God because of how they define God? Do I stop believing in God because now I'm afraid, oh, God's a crutch and this and that? See, some people try to manipulate you. And you have to learn over time how to be strong in your mind and in who you are. Because a weak-minded person will be taken over always. And I don't say that to scare you, it's the truth. A weak-minded person will be taken over. A lazy person will be taken over. A person who likes free stuff will be taken over. A person who is gullible and easily weak-minded, again, will be taken over. A person who doesn't have a central compass will be taken over. And to me, can you be a good person and not believe in God? I'm sure you can. But God, to me, is not a does he exist or not? Is he real or not? It's whether or not you believe the truth. And to think that God is a hoax, that somebody wrote this book a long time ago as a big old hoax that was just meant for people to stay controlled and be good people. Oh yeah, we just made up God and made the Holy Bible because we wanted people to be good, because if not, then they would be crazy in the streets killing each other. Well, people still are crazy in the streets killing each other. So, but this whole notion that God is a made up thing just so you can be a good person. So someone created propaganda for you to be a nice person? It doesn't even make any sense. Propaganda is usually created to control. Right? What does the creation of God control? It keeps you from killing people, cheating on people, disrespecting people, lying to people. God's greatest commandment, love one another as yourself. Oh, that's some bad propaganda. You know, people try to fight God, and normally it comes from a place where they were let down. You know, when someone hates God, when they yell at people that love God, when they fight with people and challenge people that love God, I feel like that comes from a place of pain. I don't think that comes from a place of love and a place of goodness. I don't think you're like, oh, I've been surrounded by love, and and now I'm just going to scream at people that believe in God. I don't know what to say always to those people, because a lot of them have made their mind up already. But what I can say in my life is God doesn't control me. I control myself. But I have a compass, and the compass is God. And when everything's wrong, God's always been right. When I'm wrong, God's been right. When I'm right, God's been right. When I didn't know where to go, God's helped me. When I was lost, God helped me. When everything was great, God helped me. When everything was confusing, God helped me. There's one thing in my life that has stayed consistent, and that's God. So when I can't control something, I do two things. I pray, and I give everything I can to control myself and to make sure that I am a good person, even when good isn't done to me. I don't have all the answers, but I know that God is real. God loves us. God never lets you down. And the quicker you realize that you can't control anything but yourself, as hard as life may become, you'll find a way. Because you'll start realizing that if you take care of home base, if you take care of you, no matter how crazy this world gets, When you're happy from the inside out, when you're positive from the inside out, when your light radiates from the inside out, a dark world can never make you dim. Remember that. This is Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports meets life every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is time for us to bring you the top dogs of the week, and we have an entire team to honor, and we can't do that without my dog Lily giving us that awesome sound she always brings to the table. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, both in East Syracuse, right down the road from LeMoyne College. And I say that because our top dogs of this week, the LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team, honoring them for making history once again. The first game that we ever saw from any team, any sport at LeMoyne, with LeMoyne being a fully fledged Division I institution, was a LeMoyne women's soccer game. And after that, the first win that LeMoyne has sustained as a Division I institution, full member, came on the LeMoyne women's soccer side as well. And now the first NEC win for LeMoyne women's soccer happens here this week, and it follows the LeMoyne women's tennis team getting the first NEC win for the school, and now the women's soccer team has their first NEC win overall. So I will be celebrating this special Top Dog of the Week Dolphin Dive combination with head coach Jaro Zawislan and the wonderful student athlete that created a draw just a few games ago with her goal. Joining us in just a little while, Sierra Edwards, who had the game-winning goal in the matchup against Stonehill at home this week on Ted Grant Field. A lot of excitement, a lot of positives, and a great start to Division I play. Jaro Zawislan is with us live. Jaro, how are you?
We're doing great, Dan. It's a good day for women's soccer, a good day for among college athletics, and a great day for the institution as a whole.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, to have this history, to play the first game with LeMoyne being a Division I institution, get the first win with LeMoyne as a full member D1 institution, and now get your first NEC win as a program, just what you could say this season has already meant to you and to the team.
We are so proud of our student athletes, and we are very happy for them and their hard work leading to the preseason and the preseason and during the out-of-conference season is paying off. The progress has been tremendous. Last year when we started this project, during the last 12 months, we were just trying to close the gap to quality teams in any 10 at Division II level, and we felt that as a program on and off the field, we've been doing that every week, every month, every day. Then with the announcement to reclassify to Division I and joining NEC conference, of course, the level of the competition went up, not just one level, joining three levels, of course. And our student athletes have responded in a great, positive, tremendous way. We divided the season in kind of three parts. There was a true preseason, part one in August. That was before our main game, first official game at Division I level. And then we don't try to disrespect out-of-conference season, but that out-of-conference season, that was almost like preseason part two that led us to the most important part of the season, which is Northeast Conference regular season. We knew that that's where everything is to play for. For the postseason opportunity for our student athletes and NEC, and the timing of the players not peaking yet, because the thing is there's still a lot of work to be done, but continuing to close the gap over the first two parts of the season. It's been a tremendous process to be part of. We as coaches are looking at our players individually and as a group, and what we are experiencing is a great story. Great stories that those players write individually about their progress and how they are adjusting to this environment, and as a whole group. And there's so much more story to be written by this group this season.
And like you had said to me before, this, like, in putting it into three parts, the preseason, the non-conference, and the conference schedule, you said, hey, whatever we do in non-conference, that's great, we learn from it, but once we head into the NEC, that's where, we're starting over again, we're starting fresh, right? We do what we need to do in the NEC, we could play in the postseason and play for a championship. The non-conference schedule that you played, to me, was difficult in a way where there's so many positives that can come from that. The games that you played, who you played against, playing a lot of those games on the road, I feel like that helps to prepare you for the NEC, because your student athletes have seen what it was like to go up against really strong programs, really great programs, not that there isn't inside of the NEC, but that non-conference schedule of experience. What does that do for you as a team? Because in my opinion, from my point of view, your non-conference schedule really tested your team in a way that I feel like was going to prepare them for the NEC.
Yes, the goal of the out-of-conference season was prepare our players in many different ways with regards to the on-the-field and off-the-field experience. Then you mentioned already and hit on so many points with on-the-field challenging schedule against variety of the teams, variety of the styles, with different setup of the facilities, different length of the trips. So that leads me to the off-the-field experience. We had one-day trips, we had overnight trips. We had this sequence of the games where there was a game on Thursday and there was a game on Sunday in a given week. So that also prepared the whole program for the rhythm of the preparation, so-called microcycle of preparation for one game or two games during the week and the short turnaround. So student athletes were able to experience not just the game itself on the field, but the preparation, turnaround, the time that they had to recover from game to game, the routine of the recovery and preparation for the next game, Thursday to Sunday, Sunday to Thursday, turnaround. So that was all done with purpose, of course, within the limitations of the time constraints that we had to put that schedule together.
Yeah, and having that experience to go in here, and we talk about the schedule. Well, when you go into the NEC, LeMoyne gets to see familiar faces, familiar teams, right? They get to see Merrimack and they see Stonehill, two teams that also reclassified from Division II to Division I, coming from the NE10, the same conference that LeMoyne was in, that you coached in last season, going into the NEC. So when you get your first ever conference win in Division I inside of the NEC, and it comes from defeating a former conference foe in Stonehill in the NE10, it seems all too poetic. And I would imagine that this game was on the minds of your student athletes, knowing that Stonehill had reclassified the year before LeMoyne had.
Well, from my own individual perspective and some of our members of the coaching staff, we have an experience playing Stonehill since we started that project just last year.
Right.
So we didn't overlap with the Stonehill NA10. We have not overlapped with the other schools that you mentioned at Division II level. But talking to some people leading to the game, and especially after the game, yeah, we started to realize there was additional meaning to it, and we've been talking about the past games, and in some ways, not going into too much detail, but it was nice to hear also how much different this game was, and the outcome of this game, and the experiences of the players and supporters and administration versus the games that they played. The Division II level and NE10 against Stonehill, it seems like it became almost instant rivalry, because even on the field, the level of the motion and the intensity was skyrocketing there, especially at the end of the game when we had the 1-0 lead and Stonehill was pushing, pressing for the equalizer. So there was definitely additional feel to this game when you look at especially at the latter part of it.
And you spoke on that, the intensity at the end of the game as they look for the equalizer. Your goalkeeper, Allison, she's been with this program since before you came on as head coach, and she's continued to be your lead goalkeeper. Just what you can say about what she did. I mean, 7 saves in this game, and, overall just what she's meant to this team and the plays that she's come up with. And with, speaking of Allison, I also want to give credit to your backline defense as well.
Yes, Allison reflects in a great positive way the quality of our goalkeepers group, and we have a lot of quality and a lot of depth there at that position. We are very comfortable with all 3 keepers stepping into the game, as 2 other keepers already had shown in the previous game. They both are more than capable of playing at this level and making quality saves and helping the team get the positive result. What Alison has done since the time we started this project, I mean, at the beginning, she was good quality Division II goalkeeper. And we had some conversation with Alison that there's so much more in her potential there, and it's credit to her. I mean, she has became over the time very good Division II goalkeeper, and now she's proving that she is raising the game to the level of not just somebody who can play at Division I level, but she's becoming one of the very good, excellent Division One goalkeepers. Last couple of games, she has played as complete games as a goalkeeper can play. And some people can ask, well, there were some other games where she would make 12 saves, 14 saves. Last year she had the games where she was under the pressure. But the way she is playing right now, not only with the presence, but it's not just about the shot stopping, it's about the commanding the box. Her range on the through balls and crosses has increased. Her distribution got better. All parts of her goalkeeping are getting better and better. And there's still so much more potential that Allison has, and we'll see that in upcoming weeks from her. The back line, very good, very strong. We have rotated some players and everybody has stepped up. But also they understand that as much as they are certainly under pressure and during the parts of the game, we pride ourselves on team group defending, especially at Division One level. We know that there will be sometimes tough matchups for individual players, athletically, soccer-wise. So we know that we have to do a very good job of group defending, of team defending. And that starts with our forward position, then goes through midfielders, defenders, and of course ends with the goalkeeper who occasionally, hopefully it's occasionally, not too often, has to come up with not just routine save, but a quality save, or just like in Allison's case, late in the game with 2 exceptional saves in one sequence, which besides wonderful Sierra's goal, I think Allison's sequence is also a strong candidate for top plays of the week and NEC. I think both of those plays, the goal and 2 save sequence by Allison, should make that list this week.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, you can go back and watch it. You brought up Sierra's goal, the goal of difference here. Sierra at home earlier on in the season helped to create a draw opportunity with an equalizer to give LeMoyne one of those ties that you've had so far this season. And here we are a few games later where her goal is the goal of difference against Stonehill for your first NEC win in just 2 games in the NEC, both at home, one against Howard, a loss 1-0, and then the victory over Stonehill 1-0. Just what you could say in the 52nd minute of Sierra Edwards, from the sideline, what you saw on her play and what was created kind of coming down the line through your eyes, what Brooke did as well as Hope, and how Sierra finished off this play and scored the goal in the 52nd minute.
Sierra will be the very first one to tell us that that goal was first of all outcome of good good group defending, and then quick transition to attack with 2 other players that you mentioned, making the right decisions and progressing in a positive way up the field with the dribble, with the pass. And of course, we are not taking away from great individual effort the last part of the sequence by Sierra. Like I mentioned, I mean, there was a quality goal, and we know that Sierra has been capable of doing that. She is becoming more complete player over the last 5-6 weeks. She came into this environment. We already saw quite a few positives in her play. There was a reason why we recruited her, and we recruited her sister Autumn, and we saw certain things in their play that were good enough upside for us to have a good starting point with them. Credit to both of them, credit to Sierra for what she's doing in attacking third. We talk about driving up the field. She has a lot of qualities that are handful to deal with by defenders, and she showed it already in the first half with a couple of drives at the goal, and one of her shots in the first half, it was just a matter of inches. Hit the inside of the post, went out after great individual effort, taking defenders on. I mean, literally, defender was leaning all over her, hanging on her back, and she still got the shot off. And like I said, it was a matter of inches. little bit inside of the right post, and the ball goes in. So she shows that. And as a team, we've been working with regards to the quality in the attacking third, quality of finishing. The chances they were creating are getting better and better with every game. And more of them are coming, or we are earning as a team. And it's just a matter of inches here and there, a little bit better quality finishing, and more goals are to come.
You know, and Jaro, before I let you go here, Jaro Zawislan, in this special edition of Dolphin Dive following the LeMoyne women's soccer team's first NEC win as part of the NEC here in Division One and in their first season in reclassification, and of course being honored as the top dogs of the week as well, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. When you look at, Jaro, the fact, like you said, the opportunities are getting better, things are getting better offensively for this team. Why do you think that is? I mean, you've had to move players around. You've had to be, pretty in certain games. You had to get creative in some of the things that you did. Why do you feel like this offense, and I know it starts with the back line of the defense and the transitions and good passes and obviously defending well creates for the good offense, but do you feel like at this point you're starting to find the right players on offense and move around kind of the right individuals that you think you need? What's attributing to the offensive play right now?
It continues to be work in progress. Our players, they know that they are all teammates, they all support each other, but also they compete for the playing time. They compete for starting positions, they compete for place on the field during the games. Healthy competitive spirit gets the best out of them, and they know what was good enough yesterday. By the time Sunday game comes around, we need to be better as a team, individually and as a team, by those 2-3 days of preparation for LIU game. And then the field on Sunday, the game itself is going to verify were we better on the day than our opponents. With regards to the moving around the players and personnel, sometimes it was because of ups and downs of the adjustment to the level of play. Some players had better spells of the performances and established themselves as the players at certain positions. Some of them were going with inconsistent performances. Sometimes injuries play part in the rotation. The thing is, it's nice to have the consistency, but also we see some players during the last week to 10 days taking the game to the next level. Sometimes it's the tactical understanding of the game is raised by certain experiences during the training sessions or video sessions. Sometimes the opportunity that they get on the field, they step in for a few minutes and all of a sudden they are doing the things that not only we expect them to do, but they do them at the fast enough tempo, both with vision, decision, and the execution part of the play. There's some couple of very nice examples coming even from the first-year players. And everybody sees it. Everybody has the opportunity to move up the pecking order within the depth charts for the games. And people see it is possible. It is possible. No matter where your place soccer-wise is on the roster today, you can progress. It's really up to the player. We always emphasize that whatever you get out of the experience, you have to earn it. You have to earn it on the field, off the field, to keep that privilege, because it's not the right, it's the privilege to represent this great institution of the LeMoyne College. Players understand that, or if they don't understand that right away, they learn over the time. All of them come from the environments where they were the best or one of the best players on their high school team, on their club team. And sometimes it's a little bit of a experience for them to go through the situation where they step on the field and all of a sudden they're surrounded on the field. They're playing with and against players that all of them were best or one of the best on the respective high school or youth club teams. And all of a sudden, the level of the competition and the challenges that come with that, it's very high. It's very high. And for some people, they can adjust to that and thrive in this environment right away. And for some of them, it takes a little bit longer time. We give opportunity for every one of them to thrive in this environment. We provide them with all the opportunities, time and space to develop. But again, eventually it's up to that individual to take that opportunity and make the most out of them. We give them opportunity to step on the field during the game. But what they do with that opportunity is up to them.
That coming here from Jaro Zawislan, the head coach of the LeMoyne Dolphins, a women's soccer team, and I love that. So the opportunity that is going to be given to them. What they do with it is up to them. Our top dogs of the week coming off of their first ever Northeast Conference win. Jaro, as always, I appreciate you. I look forward to talking with you soon, and safe travels to Long Island.
Thank you very much, Dan, and thank you for everything you do for the student athletes, for LeMoyne College and LeMoyne Athletics.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. That coming from Jaro Zawislan. We're going to take a quick step aside, come back with more of our top dogs of the week celebration that is bonding with Dolphin Dive as we celebrate the LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team following their first Northeast Conference win. You'll hear from the one who scored the goals. Sierra Edwards coming up right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are inside of our Top Dog of the Week segment, proudly brought to you by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding right in East Syracuse, down the road from LeMoyne College, and we are celebrating the entire team of LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer as they have another victory here in their first season as a Division I institution, and that second victory that's come this season is coming inside of the Northeast Conference for their first ever conference win against a team that was part of the other conference that they were in when they were in Division II in the NE10, that being Stonehill. And I am here with the one whose foot scored that goal, and I appreciate so very much having Sierra Edwards back on the show, as we spoke with her earlier on in the season in a Dolphin Dive special as well. Sierra, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So bring me into it. Bring me into this play. I know Brooke and Hope, there's a lot of people that were a part of this opportunity, and you finished off this opportunity with a fantastic shot in the 52nd minute. Bring me into the play itself on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it always is like a team goal. I mean, we worked together to get there. But great touch by Hope. She gave it to me. I just dribbled towards the goal. I mean, usually lately I've been dribbling into the box and I just kind of been getting stopped. So this defender kind of gave me enough room. So I just took the shot from outside the 18. And then, yeah, it went in the back of the net.
And like you said, certain things that you tried before weren't working, so you adjusted. Some people just kind of do that definition of insanity. They say, no, this is the way I want to shoot. This is what I want to do. I'm going to keep doing it even if it's not working. Just speak to the adjustments you've made this season, like you did in this game, to try and create opportunities that maybe weren't there before.
Yeah, I've had to make quite a bit of adjustments. Like our formations, something like I've never played before. So I've had to learn kind of how to, as the forward, come back further and go both sides of the field. So I've adjusted that. But I know as a team we're all adjusting to this formation a lot. You can tell with our performance. But yeah, and as I also play outside mid, I have to adjust to how far back I come on defense. So I've had to kind of learn with that. I mean, I'm hoping I'm doing my best with doing better at all this and having to adjust to how I do it.
And Sierra, when I spoke with your head coach, Jaro Zawislan, he spoke about, everybody on this team is going to get an opportunity. It's what you do with the opportunity on the field, how you react to the opportunity that you've been given. Just what you could say about the culture of the team and the fact that, there are opportunities given. And when you're a part of this LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team, it's really up to you with what you do with it. You're not just sitting and watching. When you get those opportunities, depending on how you handle them, that you can create more for yourself and more time on the field. Just what you like about being a part of the culture that you have at LeMoyne.
Yeah, no, I mean, you always have to adjust with everything how it is. And I think everybody's doing very well on this team. And like he said, you have to take advantage of every opportunity. And I know that working at practice, we're always trying to do our best. We're getting better. And then the first couple of games, we kind of were not getting the opportunities that we wanted. So now I'm taking advantage of any opportunity that I get. If anybody gives me an opportunity to shoot, I will shoot from any distance, kind of doing that. And I know that the other people on the same team are doing the same thing. We're starting to learn how we all have played together. We have good chemistry. We're trying to really take advantage of any opportunity that we get.
Here with Sierra Edwards, who scored the goal in the 52nd minute to help bring about the separation in the victory over Stonehill. Did you and the team feel different in this game? I mean, was Stonehill one of those things that just kind of felt even more energy, even more to it? I mean, I know your team has given all you have all season long, and at the time we're talking, through 10 games, but when Stonehill comes from the NE10, they come from Division II. They had the same move that LeMoyne had going from D2 to D1, NE10 to NEC. Seeing a familiar logo for this team, and I know that not everybody on the team has experienced Stonehill before, but is there something to that? Does Allison kind of pull you aside and say, hey, this game is, we got to beat this team? Did it have extra meaning for the team?
I'm for sure it did have meaning. We talked about it in the locker room, that this is a familiar team. I mean, we always have that kind of rival with them. Yeah, it was definitely a team to beat, and I think we did very well. We came out hard, and then we took any opportunity that we could. So I'm glad that we got the outcome against that team, Stonehill.
10 games in, you have 2 wins and 2 ties. What does that say about LeMoyne as a Division I women's soccer program?
I think it says a lot. I mean, didn't start out with like the what we kind of wanted. But I mean, we were playing teams that were not in our conference and all that, and like that have been in Division I for a while. But for us, I mean, for the fact that we just switched to D1 and we're able to actually get like this chemistry together with this team, we're starting to learn everything together. We're taking the opportunities. You can see the difference in how we all play. It started with the Howard game. We all played very well, and then it came into this game, and we got a victory out of it.
You guys have gone through injuries. You've gone through having to put different student athletes in different places, try to work different combinations and get creative. What has that done to bring the team closer together and make the team even better at this point in the season?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I was having quite a bit of injuries. So we had to get people that maybe had never played like that position before, like step up and take that role, and they did a very good job at it. And that's what we need. We need people to like know that they can step in anywhere, even if it's a position they never played before. And it just, I mean, all of us just have a very close connection. So like, it's nice to know that we have that, and it definitely does make a difference on the field when we have all that kind of chemistry. And being able to have anybody step in any position is very helpful.
Sierra, for you, with plenty of games to go, what's the best part of being on this LeMoyne women's soccer team, in your opinion?
It's definitely the team. Like, I know that even if we have a not so good game or we lose a game, like, I still have my team, and they're all very supportive and everything like that. And even if we do have like a win, like yesterday, it was like a very nice moment, and everybody's very supportive. So, I mean, I'm glad to do this journey with this team because they've made it a lot of fun.
Sierra Edwards, been a big part of this season in so many ways, and as she said, it's not just her, it's a team effort, and incredible, and I've been able to see them on site, on location. This team has definitely created a lot of special moments very early on in Division I, and there's a lot of great things to come. If they can play this way now, I can't wait to see how they're going to play in the coming weeks as we move forward. Sierra, congratulations on your first NEC win, and thank you for taking some time with us today, and my best to you and the team moving forward.
Thank you.
Take care. That coming once again from Sierra Edwards here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. The game-winning goal coming from her foot, and in the 52nd minute. Go back and watch it. I shared it on my social media. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's on X at CallDT. Can also go to LeMoyne Women's Soccer. That's LeMoyne WSOC, and you can check that out there as well. The video, incredible, and closer angle, and then more of an outside, kind of a wide view, and then getting on the field type of view. So you get a couple ways of seeing the goal scored by Sierra. And like she said, it's a team effort. It's not just her. And the best part of being a part of LeMoyne's women's soccer team is the team itself, being there with all of them. So you always love hearing that. And like I said, I've been around this team all throughout the season, and it's special, and I think there's a lot more good things to come. Sierra Edwards, Dolphin Dive bonus, and being honored with her team as the top dogs of the week. Proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where the very special Blessings in Baseball on a different day this week due to travel. And so Dukes Knutson, the press box manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and I, speaking on God, faith, Major League Baseball, the Diamond, the playoffs, and Shohei Ohtani, right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome here to an all-new Blessings and Baseball, here with Dukes Knutson, the press box manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and myself, Dan Tortora, inside of Wake Up Call. We bring this to you bi-monthly on Tuesdays between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time every other Tuesday. This week we had to change it up a little bit due to travel, and so we are here with you on a Friday, which is perfect because just a little while ago at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, you heard LEAD, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, an acronym that I say all the time, God and I created together. I give God all the credit. I just wrote it down. And that segment proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. So we have a ton of faith here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I don't hide it, and I appreciate those that don't as well. And Duke's being one of those wonderful people that shares his faith and his love for sports together, which created this segment, Blessings in Baseball. So, Dukes, how are you?
Oh, fantastic. Life is grand. Exciting baseball season going on.
Well, that's the thing. So what I love about this now, the Tampa Bay Rays, first team to clinch the wild card and leaving the world open in the American League and in the National League. So many teams fighting for the opportunity to get into the postseason. For those of you that have paid attention, you know that the wild card expanded. There's no more one and dones anymore. It's not like you're in for a half a millisecond. And at the same time, there's a wild card team that's been added on both sides in the National League and American League in recent history. Many teams fighting for this postseason, which has made it so very incredible down the stretch here. And Dukes, I think one of the biggest things that I've taken away from this, that I've really enjoyed from this, is the season matters. 162 games. It's a lot of games. I've said on the show before, it's so many that you feel like the beginning of the season doesn't even matter. But as we come down the stretch here right now, every single game matters. So there's 162, and yet here we are in the final hours of Major League Baseball over these few days, and we know that 162 definitely matters because some of these teams are going to get in by the skin of their teeth, and other teams are going to be out from one game, half a game, at the end of it all.
Well, not only that, but this year there's no playoff games. I mean, if it's there's no 163s anymore, so you have to win series against your opponents, and you want to get that advantage of having the tiebreakers, and so it's going to be so interesting here in this final week.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely cause for a lot of excitement. The Tampa Bay Rays, to know that's obviously, that's your team there, and that's I know you have a connection to Minnesota and the Twins, and obviously a connection to the Tampa Bay Rays. In Tampa, they have already secured that they will be in the postseason. The Baltimore Orioles having themselves one heck of a season, and the Tampa Bay Rays just a little bit behind them, and almost at 100 wins. But we know that the rest of that world has, in the American League, Toronto, Seattle, Texas. What are your thoughts on the race in the American League for the wild card?
Well, to be honest, Dan, I don't. I mean, it could go anyway. It seems like in the West, all three teams fighting for that division championship are losing. A lot of them they're losing a lot of games, and to some weaker teams, and so it's going to be interesting. Now, Seattle and Texas, I think, play the last series of the year, so that it could very well come down to that. Houston's been on a little bit of a losing streak lately, so gosh, I have no clue how this thing's going to end up.
Yeah, and in the National League, the Arizona Diamondbacks, my team, are in a prime place. And for those of you watching, yes, I have a soft spot for Tampa. They came into the league the same year as Arizona, and so the Diamondbacks, right? So I watch them both very closely. Diamondbacks are in this world where they've been just out, just in, then a little bit above that. Nobody's safe. The Phillies aren't safe. The Diamondbacks, Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins, Cincinnati Reds, San Francisco Giants. I mean, that to me has been a really exciting race for the playoffs. We know that some things have been locked up. Atlanta clinched their division, the Dodgers clinched theirs, and then everything else is wide open. When you look on the other side to the National League, I know that, your day-to-day is Tampa, but is that exciting baseball for you? Do you keep an eye on it? Do you appreciate the fact that this thing is probably not going to get figured out maybe until the last game or two?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I'm a baseball fan, and this is very, very exciting. I think Major League Baseball did a great job in reorganizing the playoff structure. They've, like you said earlier, they've kept, um, the division races are still important. You want to win your division, but these races for the wild card to get in, and anything can happen. Look what happened with Philadelphia last year. They
Yeah.
were the last seeded team, and they ended up going to the World Series. So yeah, it's exciting for a baseball fan, and it changes every day, and
Yeah.
that's one of the problems I have is I can't keep up with it. Like, okay, who's in that last wild card position today? Because it's
Yeah.
going to change tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, I think in maybe this has been like this for, other seasons where people can sit back and point to it, but for me, I feel like this season it's been more up in the air than in recent history. That there's nothing locked. You could go from right outside of the wild card to the second wild card team to the first wild card team. It's not like somebody's leaps and bounds ahead. It's not like the Phillies are like, hey, we got this on lock. We're the first wild card team. We're set and ready to go. Arizona, you're barely going to get it. No, Arizona can be the top wild card team, the second one, the third one. They could fall out. Miami could come in, Cincinnati. And the thing about what I saw a couple weeks ago is that in the case of Arizona, for example, their series that they had to end the season, they were going to earn it. If they beat these teams, it's like this team's ahead of you, this team's winning their division, this team's right behind you, this team's tied with you. So the Arizona Diamondbacks have had a gamut of they didn't have the Royals and the A's and anything like that. They're playing the Reds, who at the time the Reds were ahead of them. They're playing the Cubs, and the Cubs were ahead of them. They're playing, the Dodgers, who are winning the division. They're playing the Orioles, who are on the other, winning the AL East and doing everything that they had done there. So this was a really difficult road to just take the Diamondbacks, for example, that I saw way ahead of time was if they get in, they didn't get in because they had a chump schedule. They got in because they legitimately went into the Cave of Wonders with Aladdin and did everything they could to come out of there with that, shiny little lamp that they could have. So, I feel like that's the fun part of it too, in looking at some of these storylines, because the Diamondbacks have literally had to beat the teams that if they don't beat, they get that spot. So, I mean, it's literally the big games that are happening, and it almost feels like the postseason before the postseason.
Yeah, another thing I really appreciate about this season, and it kind of alludes to what you're talking about, Dan, is the balanced schedule.
Yeah.
Now, it's still not a perfectly balanced schedule, but it's much more even ground. And so, take the American League Central, for example. I think by all accounts, it's the weakest division in baseball. Even my Minnesota Twins are basically running away with it right now. But in my mind, even being a Twins fan, they're probably going to be the weakest team in the playoffs. Um, but I like the idea that teams are earning their way in by beating other teams, and at the end of the year, it's basically you've all played the same team, so it's I think it's working. And again, I think you got to give MLB a lot of credit for what they've done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Major League Baseball, we see things like this go down, and it's almost like they prognosticated it. It's almost like they knew that these were going to be the big games. So sometimes it works out like that, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, you look at football, and you start off the season, division rivalry, bitter rivals, Cowboys, Giants, and Cowboys won 40 to nothing. Then you have these other games where it's a different world. I know I said something that was like Chinese algebra to you, Dukes. I said football, but to you, it's not football. It's baseball season. But, I mean, as we get closer and closer into this, I think one of the sad parts of it, there's two sad things to do, and it has to do with the same player, is that Shohei Ohtani isn't playing, and the Angels, once again, aren't winning enough. And it's been kind of not kind of, it's been a very unique situation that they arguably, to a lot of people, had the two best players in baseball, or best hitters in baseball, and Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. And this team doesn't make the playoffs when the guys are healthy. They don't make the playoffs when the guys aren't healthy. And now Shohei Ohtani's cleaned out his locker. I know you and I have talked about this before, but the sweepstakes are open. And now the news just came out that Shohei Ohtani, following his elbow surgery, will hit in 2024, but he won't pitch next season. He'll pitch in 2025. So there's a little bit of background here that comes out of St. Petersburg, Florida, which I find all too interesting because it's Diamondbacks territory, or pardon me, that's Rays territory. So we look at Shohei Ohtani, elbow surgery that he had this past Tuesday. And so having that surgery on September 19th, and the doctor said he expects the two-way star will be available as a hitter on opening day and then go back to the mound in 2025. Now, he tore the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow on August 23rd. That ended his pitching season. He continued as a batter through September 3rd, and then he got an oblique strain. Now, Dodgers head team physician Dr. Neil Elatrash operated Tuesday at the Cedars-Sinai Curlin Job Institute in Los Angeles. He said in a statement that the sides decided to, quote, reinforce the healthy ligament in place, end quote, suggesting that the ulnar collateral ligament wasn't reconstructed via Tommy John surgery. Now, that surgery was performed on Ohtani on October 1st of 2018, speaking of Tommy John surgery. Ohtani said on Instagram, quote, I had a procedure done on my elbow earlier this morning and everything went very well. Thank you very much for everyone's prayers and kind words. It was very unfortunate that I couldn't finish out the year on the field, but I will be rooting on the boys until the end. I will work as hard as I can and do my very best, come back on the diamond stronger than ever, end quote. So there's been no specifics on anything that's come out. His agent said, quote, the final decision and type of procedure was made with a heavy emphasis on the big picture. Shohei wanted to make sure the direction taken gave him every opportunity to hit and pitch for many years to come. Now, Shohei is 29 years old. He currently leads the American League with 44 home runs, has 95 RBIs, 8 triples, 20 stolen bases. He was 10-5 with a 3.14 ERA in 23 starts, striking out 167 batters and walking 55 in 132 innings. Elatrash said, quote, the ultimate plan after deliberation with Shohei was to repair the issue at hand and to reinforce the healthy ligament in place while adding viable tissue for the longevity of the elbow. I expect full recovery and he'll be ready to hit without any restrictions coming opening day of 2024 and do both come 2025. End quote. He's now going to be a free agent and his locker's been cleaned out in the Los Angeles Angels clubhouse. What are your thoughts on Shohei now that we know he's going to be a free agent? The team kind of looked like they could maybe make the playoffs at some point this season. That's not going to happen. He decides to keep hitting when he probably should have just shut down completely after stopping pitching. He cleans out his locker. He has surgery. And now you and I are talking on the heels of the fact that we're being told he can hit next season, but he can't be the Shohei that we know at 100% because he won't be pitching. A lot of things have happened in a short amount of time, Dukes. What are your thoughts?
Well, I've said so often to so many of my friends that I would make the world's worst front office general manager. I was listening to some discussion on radio yesterday about that. They talked about the gamble, and they should have done this, they should have done that. Gosh, who knows? Who knows? There's risk involved in anything. I have to trust that Shohei and his agents and his doctors, and that they've all made the best decisions they can make. That they all want this guy to succeed. And what's the best way of doing that? And only time is going to tell. I mean, I look back on it now, and then I think you just said it too. He probably should have shut down earlier than he did. But at the time that they felt they were still viable for a playoff position, and that they weren't risking his future. But again, now here we are a month, 6 weeks later, and we're saying, well, maybe he should have done it the other way.
Yeah.
It's easy to look back and see that. Being in his free agent year, I mean, I have no clue how this is going to work out. I mean, again, being one who acknowledges I would be an awful general manager, I'd have a hard time gambling a $500 million on a guy who's got these kinds of issues to deal with. But yet somebody's going to, I think.
Yeah. Well, and there's arguments, and those arguments to me have been, I put those out this week. The Seattle Mariners can say, hey, you're coming from Japan. We had Ichiro. Ichiro can come out and visit. He can show you, I mean, Ichiro, people that don't know baseball know Ichiro. So they can sell that. They can sell that they have that connection. They have that beauty. You can continue that. This guy can be your mentor. The Los Angeles Dodgers can say, hey, you love the city, but it's time to be on a better team. The Mets can say, here's a big old pile of money, and you don't have to deal with the fact that there's a billion Yankees. The Mets, you can be Mr. Met. You could be our guy. You could be the one that lasts for us. Because we've had nobody like you. Nobody's had anybody like you. And then the Yankees could turn around and say, hey, we did it before with Babe Ruth. He pitched and hit. We could do it again with you because you're better than the Babe. So they all have their arguments set out in place. But the issue becomes, and something that I said, is that the Angels dropped the ball on this, not because Shohei got injured. Now, obviously, that adds to stuff, and people want to conversate about that. But it's that you have a potentially one of one. We may never see a Shohei again. Never see someone who can hit as well and pitch as well as this young man does. And the Angels, because they didn't trade him and get half a team at that point, they may come away with nothing. They may come away with, yes, we were the first team. We saw something in him. We brought him in, and look at what he did for us. But they don't win a World Series with him. They don't go to the playoffs, so they don't do anything with him. They don't get anything for him. And I think that, we always say hindsight's 20/20, but I wasn't in hindsight when I was talking about it. I was talking about it in the moment, saying, if Shohei's got to be really honest, and granted, in these contract negotiations, some people are honest, some people aren't, but Shohei had to be really honest. His agent had to be really honest, and the Angels had to be really honest. And if they weren't going to be together, then the Angels had to trade him. So the Angels actually got something when he left. Because the Angels right now, no matter who takes a chance on Shohei, the Angels get absolutely nothing for it. And that, to me, was a horrible, you talk about bad front office moves, that was a huge blunder. Because he's not playing for you, his locker's cleaned out, and you got nothing for him. And I thought that was terrible management.
Well, Dan, I agree with you 100%. But I think if you go back to that time, the Angels felt legitimately that they had a chance to make the playoffs. And they were playing well at that time. They were on a winning streak. I think the mindset also was that we need to show Shohei that we are going for it, that we're not giving up. And so they made some trades that, to me, and I think you're agreeing with me, that now look pretty foolish. They have guys, they've already gotten rid of some guys that they traded for 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It did not work for sure. But I guess my point is that at that time, it didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
Now it looks really bad.
Yeah.
There's another factor in this that I don't know. Maybe again, this is just the poor management skills in me. You were talking about how each team can make a case, and that's absolutely true too. But to me, the biggest factor is, what does Shohei want? Shohei, we can't get in his mind and in his heart. Maybe he doesn't want the big city life.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to go to a team like Tampa Bay or Arizona to have a more quiet life. I think back to who was it? Was it Rodriguez from Detroit that the Dodgers tried to get him at the trading deadline, and he nixed the deal, and he got blasted in the media.
Yeah.
And why would he want to stay with Detroit when he can go to the Dodgers? And he came out and he said, because my family likes it here.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that that he's thinking about his family. His wife she likes where she's at. I don't know the full situation. Maybe they got kids in school or whatever, but that's what it comes down to. What does the player want? And that's what they won in free agency.
Yeah.
They won that right to have the choice of where they want to be. And
Yeah.
so we fans will speculate, oh, Shohei should go to the Dodgers, he should go to the Mariners, he should go to all these teams. It works for us. We plug him in. But I appreciate the fact that these players choose based on their heart and their desire.
Yeah, and you hope that they do, because if you choose on what consider an almighty bank account,
Yeah.
we know bank accounts aren't almighty, and I tell people this all the time. But
Yeah.
there's a reason why when you pass away, God doesn't say, grab that briefcase full of money and bring it with you.
Amen.
So, there you could do it for the money. You could do it for a lot of things, but doing it for the money doesn't ever truly pay off, which is the great irony of things. Yeah, you got a lot of money, but are you happy? And when people say, oh, yeah, money and power, that buys it all. Why would people say it doesn't buy it all? There's a lot of people in recent history that have committed suicide, that own their companies, made money that has more zeros than you and I can understand. They travel the world. They're known all over the place. Yet, inside, they weren't happy. Inside, they didn't have a central focus. They didn't have a compass. Because you don't end your life with happiness inside. You don't end your life with a belief in God, saying like, okay, God loves me. Because how could you end your life if you knew that, truly knew that? And we all go through tough times. I went through tough times. I had moments where I wanted to disappear. But every time I was at my lowest, God put his hand on my hand. Every time I've been at my highest, God put his hand on my hand. Every time I was somewhere in the middle, God put his hand on my hand. And I feel like in a world, and we'll come back to baseball in a little bit, but this is Blessings in Baseball, inside a wake-up call with Dukes Knutson and myself, Dan Tortora. We're on a special day this week on Friday because of travel on my end, so I appreciate y'all being patient. Dukes, we live in a world where identity has been a problem for some people. They don't know who they are. And there's been an attack on that by the devil, in my opinion, because the devil seeks to distort, right? They say God is not a God of chaos. So when chaos comes into your life, distortion comes in, a lack of identity, lack of knowing who you are. That's easily corruptible. And we see a lot of suicide, right? There's a prevention hotline. A lot of us have had people that have chosen to do this. One of my closest friends, my mentor, my teacher, and more than half the reason why I chose to go to Marywood University, my buddy Jay took his life. So, and I have a friend recently this year who was 17 years old who took his life. So when we talk about money and we talk about power and we talk about fame, but also understanding the fact that that doesn't buy you God, it doesn't buy you a relationship with God, it doesn't buy you faith, it doesn't buy you peace, it doesn't buy you comfort, it doesn't buy you a way to deal with adversity. What can you say about a world that is in desperate need of knowing who we are, where we came from, and if we don't, that things like suicide have happened? And when people say, how did this person do this? I'm like, I feel like, suicide, everyone has that same baseline. There's a loss of something. There's a loss of control. There's chaos. We don't know who we are. And I just want to talk about that because we're talking about money and power doesn't secure anything except money and power. And I just feel like we need to discuss this because it hits home when people have given up in society.
I heard a quote recently that had really struck a chord with me, and it goes like this. It says, I met a guy who is so poor. He's so poor that all he had was money. That's all he had, money. And you and I, Dan, have had a similar experience in that we have learned through our life experiences exactly what you're talking about. That money, power, fame, that doesn't bring happiness.
Yeah.
When you discover, as we have a relationship with God. In Galatians 5:22-23, it talks about what's known as the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Nine different attributes that we actually inherit when we give our lives to Christ. And the first two are love. Well, the first three, love, joy, and peace. Love, joy, and peace. We can stop right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can achieve love, joy, and peace in my life, I've achieved everything in my mind. No amount of money is going to bring me love, joy, and peace like my relationship with the Lord. Yeah, that's why as Christians, we do what we do. Jesus said in Matthew 28, our number one responsibility is to go into the world and tell people about Christ. Now many people are going to hear that message and reject it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to seek love, joy, and peace through money, through fame, through power.
Yeah.
And they're going to find out that they don't find it. They don't find it. And so we keep telling them, come back to the Lord. That's where you're going to find it. So yeah, it's I tell people this all the time too, that Satan is alive and well, and especially in America. He's causing that chaos and that confusion and that distortion that you're talking about. I shake my head when I look at what's going on in our country today. That it doesn't. It makes sense to me that we have a suicide problem. It makes sense to me that we have these mental health issues going on in our country because we are so distorting where love, joy, and peace come from.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's really not that complicated when we discuss it. It's not that complicated to say, listen, everybody's had a time. And if people want to say, hey, I've never had a time when I was nervous, never had a time when I was sad, never had a time when I was depressed, never had a time when I was down, never had a time where I felt like the world was chaotic, you're lying. Mother Teresa spoke about the fact of, God has promised her with has entrusted her with so many things. She wished that God didn't trust her so much because she dealt with so much. She saw so much pain. And we look at Mother Teresa and go, wow, she was like a perfect human being. And Mother Teresa said, hey, this job is hard. It's tiring. It's depressing. It's sad. It kills me inside sometimes. You know, chaos, and this has been a theme for me this year, is God is not a God of chaos. And if something in your life is chaotic, toxic, just all over the place, it didn't come from God. It didn't come from God. God does not seek to confuse. God seeks to give you refuge, right? I have great plans for you, to build a hope and a future, to prosper you. God doesn't say, I wish to come into your life and shake you like a tree, be chaotic, throw you about, distort your reality, confuse your mind, break your heart. God never promised those things. Devil does. And, I wonder, Dukes, why do you believe that this world has become, as we talk about baseball, as we talk about anything, that there's a beauty and purity of the sport, and then there's buku dollars on the other side of it? Why do you think this world has become so easily pushy when it comes to God? It seems like when I was a kid, 9 out of 10 people believed in God. If you didn't, they slapped you on the back of the head. I'm 37 years old now, and every time I think about my belief in God, I typically go back to elementary school and thinking to myself, wow, back then everybody believed in God, it felt like. If you didn't believe in God, you're a minority. Now, when I walk out into the world at 37 in this country, which has freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and I want to remind people of that I feel the opposite. I feel like you and I, and granted, now I surround myself with wonderful people. My life has God, there's so many people that believe in God. You become the company you keep. But I just feel like the kid in me wouldn't believe. Maybe he would. Maybe he saw it coming. But I just feel like my question that I keep asking myself, and I'm going to ask you since we both believe so strongly, why do you think America repels God so often now?
Well, I think we answered the question a little bit earlier when we said Satan is alive and well. And as much as I love our country, I love our freedom, it's not perfect.
No.
And we have the freedom to not believe. And I think, again, Satan is doing a good job in steering this country in a different direction. Like you said, particularly when I was growing up, I'm a generation or two ahead of you. We were all taught about God.
Yeah.
That wasn't a controversial subject. But all of a sudden now, you can't talk about God in school. Oh, don't you dare do that. And and I guess I'm being a little critical here of parenting. Some of the parents I know today who are absolutely incredible parents, but they're grounding their kids in faith. There are some parents I know who take an attitude of, I'll let my kid decide for himself whether he wants to go to church or not. Well, not too many 10-year-old kids are going to choose to go to church.
Right.
And so I'm not sure that's the best route. I was expected. I never fought going to church when I was a kid because I knew I had to. That was the expectation of my parents. Yeah. And did I always enjoy it as a 10-year-old kid? No way. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of boring. Yeah. But I look back now and say that's where my faith was planted. That's where seeds were planted and have grown. And I'm not sure that we're giving our young generation those kinds of opportunities today to grow, and that just opens the door for Satan. And
No, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly, because when you're a kid, what kid would choose church over recess? What kid
would choose to go to school?
Right. What kid would choose to do chores? What kid would choose to go to bed? You know what I mean? Right. It's like when they say, well, let a child choose. Well, a child would choose to eat ice cream every day, pizza in the morning, no curfew. Yeah. They would want to watch, violent movies at 5 years old. If you gave there's a reason why you don't give your keys to your car to your child, because it's a child. Because they're 5 years old. They can't drive. Well, Dan, what if they want... In today's America, I feel like someone could go, well, why can't you let a 5-year-old drive? If they want to drive, they should be allowed to drive. Well, they can't drive. They just can't. There's people that are 45 years old that can't drive. Somebody gave them a license, but they can't drive either. The reality is there's certain things in society that are easy. Parent raises child. Parent helps child to see things that child doesn't necessarily want to see or do. Because when you raise a child to not be responsible, when you raise a child and you don't have them do a chore or two, when you raise a child, like my mother raised me 10 years old, barely could see over the sink. My mother taught me how to wash dishes. My mother gave me recipes when I moved into my first apartment. My mother taught me how to wash my clothes before I went to college. I know people 3 decades older than me that did not know how to how to do laundry. They didn't know how to do it before I did. I had to teach them how to do laundry. And that's because their mother coddled them. No, honey, I'll do everything for you. I will be here forever and I'll do everything forever. And the reality of life is now, in a bigger picture, America's kind of doing that right now. Don't go to work. I'll send you money. You don't have to worry about your phone. We'll get you one. Give us your weapons. We'll protect you. And people say, well, that's a conservative view. Well, that's this and that. No, that common sense, folks. If someone's in control of your money, your safety, your technology, and how you communicate with people, if they decided to shut it all off, what are you going to do? If you don't work for your own money, if you don't own your own phone, if you don't own your own car, if you don't pay for your own rent, and if you don't, and I'm not saying you have to have a weapon, but if you don't know how to protect yourself, then you are doomed to be at the mercy of your overlords. And slavery, to a lot of people, looks a certain way. To me, slavery comes in a lot of iterations. When you are a slave to technology, that's a type of slavery. When you are a slave to your government, that's a type of slavery. When you give up just to make your life a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier, you keep giving up your freedoms, that's a type of slavery. And I think America right now, because we're lazy, because we want free money, because we don't want to be responsible and we don't want to get in trouble, and we think that if we break the rules, we just change the rules, so then we didn't break them. That society is doomed to fail, and that society is starting to enslave people right before your eyes. Simply put, by making your life easier. And who out there in this world says, I'll make it easier, I'll help you, I got your back, don't worry, I'll get you out of it? That's not God speak. That's devil speak. And people can't see that sheer lack of responsibility, lack of passion, lack of desire, lack of getting out and actually going and doing something to just have it be done for you. That connection of just being lazy and wanting it all done is easily controllable. And then you become controllable. And then you're at the mercy of the people that are moving the puppet strings. And the last time I checked, God wasn't the one making us all Pinocchio.
It's a it's a big topic for me personally, but we're kind of dancing around it. And what are we teaching our kids today? And we're not teaching them many of the things that you're talking about. We're putting band-aids on their problems. We're not making them figure it out. How do I deal with this? And I think the same is true, Dan, for us who call ourselves Christians. Um, there's a part in the Bible where the apostles who are Jesus' closest friends, they came up to Jesus and they said, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray. Well, they've been hanging around Jesus. You'd think they'd know how to pray, right? But a lot of the young people I meet with, we talk about, tell me about your prayer life. And they have no concept of, what prayer life is all about. And so I try to lead them, in a way that they could begin to develop a prayer life. The same is true in scripture reading. I remember first time I tried to read the Bible, I was a senior in high school, and nobody taught me how to read the Bible. And it's not just an ordinary book. And so, but because nobody taught me, I opened the book up on page 1. So, okay, well, let's start on page 1. And less than 2 weeks later, I closed that Bible and didn't pick it up for 14 years because it was making no sense to me. Today, I tell, again, especially the young people I work with who aren't accustomed to reading the Bible, I said, don't start on page 1. That's not where you start. You start with the New Testament. That's 2/3 of the way through the Bible.
Yeah.
And start reading the Gospels first so you get to know who Jesus is. The Gospel is basically a story, the history of Jesus's life, and it tells you who he is, and now you're better equipped to make a decision. Do I want to follow this guy? It's not going to be easy. Matthew 16:24 says you got to take up your cross daily. You got to be willing to give up your life. You want to do that? Well, yeah, it's going to be tough, but you know what? The rewards are incredible. The rewards are incredible. So again, I'm going back to what I believe strongly. We got to start teaching our young people what's really important in life. And unfortunately, again, Satan has intervened, and he's made all these things. He's made drugs. He's made sex. He's made money very attractive to young people. But it's going to take good parenting and good education to get young people to realize what's important in life.
You said something, and I said something, and I'm going to put these together. We talk about Band-Aids. Parents who are putting Band-Aids on everything for their children. Not that you don't put a Band-Aid on a boo-boo. We get that, right? But my mom, I come over to her crying 10 times. My mom look at me the first time, say, all right, honey, you got a scrape on your knee? Don't cry. We'll put a Band-Aid on it. Came over to my mom crying. My mom goes, honey, you're okay. You're all right. There's no reason to cry. We're not going to put a Band-Aid on that one, right? We're going to fight through it. Band-Aids put on children where you're not teaching them turn those children into young adults and adults who seek Band-Aids like sex, drugs, and money later in life. A child who is raised on Band-Aids will seek Band-Aids. And that is a really simple way of describing today's society. And I don't know Shohei's family. Maybe someday I will. But to bring it all back to what we were talking about before, I got this weird suspicion that Shohei's parents didn't raise him in a Band-Aid household, because I don't think Shohei Ohtani would be the best player in baseball right now if he got a trophy for just walking onto the field. And I think that that's something that we all need to think about, because blessings in baseball is a way for what I've always done on Wake Up Call, and whatever I've done is where sports meets life. To talk about sports, but to link it back to life and have those bigger conversations. If we're in a Band-Aid society, then why are we surprised that those same kids are now adults seeking the same stuff? Band-Aids, temporary fixes. The Band-Aid does not heal the wound. The body heals the wound. And what body are we supposed to recognize, follow, and seek to understand? It's not an easy road, Dukes. You said it. You know it. I know it. It is not an easy road to follow God. But you know what's better about that? Is that you and I don't wake up in the morning running to find a Band-Aid to make us feel good for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 days, a week, 3 hours. The Band-Aids are not the things we seek. We seek God. And it might be hard and it might be difficult. But I go to sleep without resting my head on a pillow saying I'm a bad person doing bad things. And I wake up in the morning with the hope that today is going to be better than yesterday. And yesterday was beautiful because I woke up, and it's a blessing. The two people on screen, we're not Band-Aid people. And I think Band-Aids have made themselves very clear in our society, Dukes. They don't last forever. You got to keep putting them on, and you sure as heck can run out of them pretty quick.
Yeah, and many people I know, and this is my mindset as well. We've learned that we grow the most in times of adversity, when we have to deal with tough situations in life, rather than seeking an entitlement or the easy way out. We work through situations. We learn how to handle suffering, adversity, trials. And again, that's a biblical principle. The Bible guarantees that we're all going to have those things. We're going to have trials, adversity, and suffering in life. But the key is, how are you going to deal with it? Yeah. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm so grateful to have my faith, Dan, because I really believe my faith has helped me through every situation I've had to confront so far in my life.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I might not know much, but I know God is real. And I got more evidence to prove it, and I got no evidence not to prove it. So, I just hope that we helped y'all today through maybe some tough times you're having, some adversity you're having, and Dukes and I are always here. That's something that I appreciate so very much, is that we can have these conversations, and God is alive and well. You said the devil's alive and well. So is God. God already won this thing. He already won this thing. I don't know why people think that there's still a 0-0 on the scoreboard. And, I feel like there's if the Band-Aid society could start to heal, I think there's a lot of things we can accomplish together. So with that being said, Dukes, as always, for Blessings of Baseball and Wake Up Call, I appreciate your time. God bless you. And thank you for your friendship. And thank you for your time.
Love you, Dan.
Love you too. Thank you for watching and listening to Wake Up Call every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they jump into the archives, and we added a bunch of shows already this week on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. You can go to any one of these channels and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. On YouTube, it's at Wake Up Call DT, and you can find everything that you need right there to enjoy these broadcasts of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Like I said, plenty of broadcasts added this week. Don't miss a second of them. Thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Mon, Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the restaurant is the name of the location. Get the Taste of Mexico burger only this month by going out there today and every Tuesday through Saturday. Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, where you can get the Cuse McMother, my spin on the breakfast sandwich 7 days a week. Perfect for game day and honestly perfect for any day. The Cuse McMother coming to you at 3709 James Street in Syracuse, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Mother's Cupboard. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich and get yours today. Of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It's Phins up every single month on Wake Up Call. AD and DT coming to you during Dolphin time on the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. The LeMoyne Dolphin Dive coming to you every second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You got a double dose of the Dolphin Dive and bonus Dolphin Dives today as we celebrated the LeMoyne women's soccer team as our top dogs of the week. And we continue to underpromise and over-deliver on all of our LeMoyne content and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership as we have stepped here into year 3 with the Dolphins and been with them through the transition from D2 to D1 and well before that. The Dolphins can all be found on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, and for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. As always, Fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Men's and women's soccer, men's and women's basketball, baseball, and esports all come to you in our very unique and special content coming from the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse that are right there on James Street in Syracuse, New York, just outside of downtown. The Bobcat Buzz finds all of its content on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and, of course, on wakeupcalldt.com. Go and check out all of our content with the Bobcats, including our 4-part series we just did with the men's soccer team, who are looking to go after another national championship. They've played in 7 straight national championship games, and they have won 2 national championships within the last 4 seasons, and one of those seasons didn't happen due to COVID. So they won in 2019, 2020 was canceled, 2021 they won, and in 2022 they played in the national championship game. So the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, all of their content, including that 4-part series with men's soccer, is now airing on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And as always, go Bobcats. The Alfred University Saxons are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Mondays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Our Saxon Time, you'll find your Saxons first and third Monday with the Presidential Perspective, featuring President of Alfred University, Mark Zupan, and special topics every single month that we key in on. And you don't want to miss a second of those. He truly cares about his student body, his faculty, and the entire community, and he has a wealth of knowledge which only comes from truly getting to know people in an honest and purposeful way. Saxon Spotlight comes to you the second and fourth Monday of each month with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the broadcast to speak on the many Saxon programs and all that the Saxons are doing to create a really unique and special environment. Each of their stories are so moving and just different from one another and so special. And what bonds them is Alfred University to all of these incredible stories of student athletes coming from all over the world to be a part of something truly unique and special at Alfred University. The Saxons are online at gosaxons.com. You can get all of our content with the Saxons by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. And as the website tells you, go Saxons. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you all tomorrow morning at the James Commons at LeMoyne College, as I will be the Master of Ceremony hosting the 2023 Gold Wave Hall of Fame induction ceremony at LeMoyne College. And then I'll see you all at Army at Syracuse at the Dome. A lot of great things coming up this weekend. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for spending your week with me. God loves you. God bless you. And when adversity strikes, run to God, not away from. I'll talk with you all soon. Have a fantastic day. We just aired a new episode of The Light Between Us with an incredible story from Karen Dietz. And honestly, those that don't believe in God do believe in God, struggling, not struggling, whatever's going on in your life, I implore you to watch this video. Karen's faith is tremendous, and she has been through a lot of adversity that would shake or take some faith away, and it's made her faith stronger. If you're looking for testimony to find a way through your storm right now, Karen is the perfect conversation to watch, and it's airing on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, Facebook at wakeupcalldt. It'll be up on X at CallDT, and it's already up on Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Thank you, Karen, for your incredible story, and thank you, God, for putting Karen in my life via my great friend Jimmer. I continue to pray for you, Jimmer. I love you with everything I got. You're my brother, you're my family, and you are the best. I hope you have a wonderful day, folks. God bless you all. Facebook at wakeupcalldt, like I said, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at CallDT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT, wakeupcalldt.com. And God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.